America finally decided to get serious about EVs. Big things are happening. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. You're watching The Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans, and it's great to have you here. Welcome to the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. This is a great day. I'm smiling. I'm going to be smiling all day because you know what? Finally, Washington are getting freaking serious about EVs. And you know what? It's about time. Why not set the example? Well, finally, that's what they're doing. But shh, quiet. Nobody tell Toyota. Otherwise, they're going to send all their lobbyists to America to try and force the government to change their minds. Shh, quiet. Seriously. Washington just passed a bill to make all vehicles EVs in 2030. No, don't worry. They're not going to kick out you guys that still have gas-powered old dinosaur vehicles, but they're going to make all new vehicle sales in 2030 EVs. So my key question here is, what exactly are Ford, General Motors, Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Volkswagen, Renault, Ram, Stellantis, all these car companies who claim that only 50% of their vehicle sales in the US in 2030 will be EVs. What are they going to do in Washington? Just only sell some of their cars? Like half of them? The other half? Just not sell them? Now, don't get me wrong. This is not going to happen this way because it won't just be Washington. This is the start of a domino effect. It happens here, happens in one place, happens in one state, happens in another, happens in another. Before you know it, guess what? Your legacy auto and only 50% of your products are actually sellable on the market. That has got to be something that's going to alarm them, right? Washington State has set a target that all vehicles of model year 2030 or later sold, purchased, or registered in Washington State are electric vehicles. The bill was signed today by Governor Inslee, making Washington the state with the earliest all-electric new car target in America. A similar effort happened once before, but then Governor Inslee vetoed it due to concerns with the road usage charge included in the language of the bill. Road usage charges, according to the Electric, would be a more intelligent way to fund roads than current methods, which generally involve some combination of gas taxes, registration fees, road tolls, and general funds depending on the state. But Inslee claimed that he didn't want to tie the two ideas together since a failure to adopt a road usage charge would mean scrapping the former bill's 2030 all EV requirement, which I guess makes sense. So the Electric says that Washington has relatively clean and cheap electricity as compared to almost every state, given the state's high hydropower mix. It also has high gas prices and more public charges than most states, marking the state an ideal place to own an electric car. I mean, really, if you haven't already done that, you're an idiot. Because, I mean, think about it, right? Gas prices are around about 6 times more expensive than the cost of electricity. In other words, what I'm saying is, according to the video that I made, I'll put a link in the description below to the video where I talk about the actual numbers, go into the data. It is 6 times cheaper in Washington State to run an electric car than an internal combustion engine gasmobile. So if that doesn't convince you to change, well, nothing will. Except the fact that, well, you won't be able to buy any other vehicle in 2030 if you live in Washington State. This current effort is part of a $16.9 billion US transportation package called Move Ahead Washington. The bill covers lots of transportation issues and includes a section which says, Section 415, 1, a target is established for the state that all publicly owned and privately owned passenger and light-duty vehicles of model year 2030 or later that are sold, purchased, or registered in Washington State be electric vehicles. On or before December 31st, 2023, the Interagency Electric Vehicle Coordinating Council, created in Section 428 of this Act, shall complete a scoping plan for achieving the 2030 target. The crazy thing is, this actually looks like it applies to any vehicle registered in Washington, period, not just sold or purchased. This suggests that gas cars of the model year 2030 bought outside of Washington could not be registered in the state of Washington, which would eliminate a possible loophole through which people might import gas vehicles into the state. So they've obviously thought this through. Well, people are going to go over to neighboring states, buy a Gasmobile there, bring it back into Washington and register it in the state. And Washington's saying, no, we're not allowing that to happen. Sorry, too bad. I actually don't think this is even necessary, to tell you the truth. I think it's great, but I think realistically, no one will be stupid enough to want to buy an internal combustion engine vehicle in 2030. And even if they are, it'll be such a tiny percentage. It'll be less than 1%. More specifics will be worked out at a later date, apparently, and guidance will be provided for all levels of Washington government and industry by an interagency electric vehicle planning council, which will work out the infrastructure needed to prepare for an all-electric fleet. So what does this mean for Washington? Well, it means they're in the lead. Currently, California is in the lead, I think, when you consider their policies for EVs. Washington now moves ahead in the effort to end gas vehicle sales on a much more reasonable timeline than the 2035 laggards in California. Now they appear to be well behind. Massachusetts, 2035 as well, and New York, 2035 as well. And every other state in America which hasn't set a target. And, well, every state in Australia which also hasn't set a target. Yeah, we're not doing very well either. In fact, we're doing even worse than Americans are. Now, clearly, setting a date of 2035 for California and those other states I mentioned is just stupid. I mean, come on, 2035, seriously? I mean, imagine the energy density of batteries in 2035. Imagine the cost reduction when we have mass-produced batteries. I mean, I'm talking terawatt hours of batteries globally. You're going to be seeing electric pickups with ranges of 1,000 plus kilometers that are going to be cheaper than, these crappy dinosaur-powered juice internal combustion engine pickup trucks, which, to be honest, have a lifespan of maybe 300,000 kilometers, maybe 400,000 if you're really lucky and you pour money into the vehicle. But, we already have 1 million mile batteries. 1 million mile batteries. Seriously. Now, they're already in existence. LFP batteries will give you about 1 million miles. Seriously. It's insane that you would consider buying anything else if you had the option. And that's today. Imagine how good those batteries are going to be. Look at the energy density improvements already over the past 12 months. CATL energy density improvements, BYD energy density improvements. We're looking at a 28% energy density improvement in CATL's LFP batteries by the end of this year. Imagine how good those battery packs are going to be by 2030. They're going to be amazing. No one will be stupid enough to buy an analog, crappy old Nokia phone when they can get a nice new smartphone for less money. Seriously. What else has been going on? Well, there's been a few other 2030 efforts in the US, though Washington's, according to the electric, is the first to be adopted at the state level. The California Democratic Party and several California cities have endorsed moving the state's timeline to 2030. Hawaii and Rhode Island introduced bills targeting a 2030 ban. But otherwise, most states have made no effort or stuck with the unambitious time frame of 2035. The earliest worldwide target, though, for context, is in Norway, which wants to hit zero gas sales by 2025. But it's going to get there naturally next year. Seriously, next year. Maybe even this year. They're so close now already. One thing that's kind of discouraging people in Norway from buying internal combustion engine vehicles, gas-powered vehicles, and I've received emails from some of you Norwegians, great to see those emails, is people saying, look at the resale of my vehicle. It's gone down the toilet because it's not an EV. The same thing will happen in everywhere, globally. The same thing's going to happen. People are just going to go, why would we want that junk? Resale values plummet for the old, crappy old technology. And people just go, yeah, I'm not willing to take that kind of a hit financially. Now, apparently, nationwide in America, US voters widely support all EV sales by 2030, but states and America's national government have as yet refused to adopt this desired timeline, which is a necessary one if we're to avoid the worst effects of climate change. In addition, President Biden, all his foibles and all, at least he does want to do one good thing, which is make the entire US federal vehicle fleet electric, a plan that is compromised by corrupt US Postal Service leadership, planning to spend billions on gas-guzzling vehicles over the next decade, which is insane. Now, interestingly, even the United States Army wants to convert to electric vehicles. I think it's simply because they are aware that they're better. I mean, for instance, today, I had a ride on an electric scooter, right? The thing was insane. It had a mode which I'm going to call plaid mode, and it was almost trying to throw me off. It had so much power that I couldn't control the thing. It was ludicrous. I've driven internal combustion engine powered scooters before, gas powered scooters, super high powered ones, but they had nothing on this thing. This thing was insane. EVs are just progressing at an incredible rate, and they're exciting. The technology is amazing. So obviously the US government's like, yeah, you know what? Why would we want crappy old internal combustion engine powered military vehicles when we can have electric ones? We've got to stay in competition with the rest of the world, right? I mean, imagine if America's involved in a war and they're just driving around in these inferior products, vehicles. So the US Army has even said they want to convert everything they own pretty much to electric. In fact, they're even aiming for all light duty vehicles in the US Army to be converted to electric by 2027. I mean, that's less than 5 years away. One comment I saw, which was really interesting, right? Somebody said, if this happens, then in Washington state, it's going to look like Cuba. So basically, everyone is going to keep their old cars forever. And in 50 years' time, people are going to be driving around these 50-year-old internal combustion engine vehicles because they just want to hold on to them and they don't want to buy electric cars. Yeah, no, that's just insane. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about that comment. Will Washington state look like Cuba? Because no one will want to transfer to buying electric. Obviously, I think that's just idiocy. But let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Have a great day. I'll see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.